Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of That's It, I've Had It. We're going to go over, we're going to cover one big topic today, but we're going to go kind of in depth into it, so bear with me. Today we're going to cover the Affordable Care Act, quote unquote, Affordable Care Act. It's been said that in order to control the people, you control their food and control their health care. And the easiest way to control food is to turn food into fuel. Well, we've done that, and now they've got control over healthcare. Let's take a look at some facts. It was touted as being less than $1 trillion total cost over the course of over the life of the bill. We know definitively now that the cost is well over $1 trillion, probably knocking on the door closer to $2 trillion. We were promised that premiums would go down, deductibles would go down, overall savings would be around $2,500 a year for the average family, all of which has proven to be false. We have seen premiums skyrocket, we have seen deductibles absolutely skyrocket, we have seen premier hospitals drop out of or not be included in the coverage, the plans that are being offered up in the exchanges. A growing number of doctors are not taking coverage at all. I mean, there's a growing number of doctors who aren't taking any kind of insurance, whether it be public or private, just because they don't want to have to deal with the red tape that's being created with all this mess. We've got 6.2 million who have lost their health care, who had health care that they liked in the private market, and because of the way the law was written, because of the way the law has to be executed, because of the way it's written, in saying that the health care plans that these people lost were inferior to what the government mandated them to have, and therefore would no longer be legal, therefore it would be no longer legal for your insurance company to actually offer you that plan. Therefore they dropped you and came at you with their version of what that the new coverage should be, or you went to the exchanges. And sadly enough, as we've touted 7.1 million sign-ups, quote-unquote sign-ups, it seems a good majority of them are people who were thrown off of their health care plans in the first place because of the way the law is written. Now, let's take what the CBO said that was needed in order to make this plan viable. First of all, let's take into consideration the fact that the CBO said it wouldn't cover more than about 19 million people, and that's 19 million of the 46.6 million uninsured that we were supposed to be fighting for with this whole Affordable Care Act. Okay. Now, they said about 30% of enrollees needed to be young healthies, right? Who are okay with the high deductibles because they have low premiums, etc., etc. Well, they're not enrolling. They're just not enrolling. Mostly because they're allowed to be on their parents' insurance plans for an extended period of time to the age of 26. As of 4/1, like I said, 7.1 million people have quote-unquote signed up. They haven't given us any information as to what the phrase signed up means. We don't know how many people have paid. We don't know how many people have just added their plan to the cart. We don't know how many people have not even picked a plan but set up their little profile on the website. We have no idea how many people have paid. How many of those people break down into demographics like people with pre-existing coverage, people who were previously insured, people who were not previously insured, etc. They have no breakdown for us, but we're supposed to accept that magically they came up with the 7.1 million people that they needed to make their version of this plan viable, even though that's less than half of what the CBO scored this plan as being able to cover. Color me a little skeptical, because all this math seems pretty crappy. I'm having a hard time following. I'm reading it and out of my own handmade notes, and I'm having a hard time following this stuff. So, back to the numbers, right? We have 6.2 million who lost their coverage. That's minus the 7.1 million who are newly covered or newly signed up. That leaves about 900,000 previously uninsured, but now covered individuals. Now, take into consideration again, this was supposed to cover 46.6 million people. It is so far covered by hat tip to, or not hat tip to, but tip of the cap to Mark Levin for coming up with these numbers. That 900,000 number, okay, that's all that they have insured as far as people who were previously uninsured out of the 46.6 million. Okay. Now you're probably saying, well, that's of course a right wing guy's numbers, right? No, the Rand Corporation came out with a study yesterday saying that it was actually less than 900,000, about 858,000. But I'm not going to parse numbers, and argue semantics numerically over 858,000 versus 900,000. Either way, the plan to cover the previously uninsured has epically failed. Has been an absolute abject epic failure at this point. Like I said, all the promises that were made to us about the costs, the deductibles, the overall savings per year, all of it's done. We have no idea how many people, how many of these 7.1 million have been thrown into Medicare or Medicaid over the exchange, the actual Obamacare exchange, and we're supposed to buy this as a success. We're supposed to buy this as a success. There's no way. As somebody who worked in the IT field, who studied project management in the IT field, who's executed projects in the IT field, I can tell you that this website is an abject failure. And let's not forget the absolute disregard for security regarding this entire thing. Because they still haven't secured the site so as to make me feel like they've even made progress. As somebody who has done that, knows people that do it for a living currently, I am fearful for those whose information has been put onto this website. If your information is already out there, wow, God bless you. Yeah, God bless you. All right. Now, let's take into consideration also the fact that Obama held a press conference on this April 1st or April 2nd, I think it was. April 1st? Either way, where he made the comment that the government didn't make the hard sell to the American people for Obamacare. He also stated, that the plan did not have billions of dollars to access, or billions of dollars of resources to access for promoting Obamacare. This is a lie, and I know you're probably thinking, "Wow, who is this nobody guy on a cell phone camera in a car calling the president a liar?" Well, I'm an American citizen who pays attention. Okay, he is indeed lying, as he went to put up the Koch brothers as the evil empire versus Obamacare, which was just the natural organic flow of what the plan was supposed to be, hitting the goals, doing the thing, right? Now, he said, we didn't have billions to access, we didn't have billions to throw at this for advertising in order to make the hard sell. Well, if you read the plan, I mean, it's 2,500 pages. Who could be expected to read it, right? Well, thank God some people have, and those people are gaining more of a voice because of people like me, who have gone and researched their words and come up with, well, guess what? They're telling the truth. Built into Obamacare, built into the actual law itself, is a budget, a discretionary budget of $684 million a year over the course of, I think, 10 years or something like that. So by the time it's all said and done, they will have spent about $5 billion, give or take $5.4 billion, on discretionary whatevers for the bill. Okay, most of this has been dumped into between two ferns with Zach Galifianakis, has been dumped into getting Kobe Bryant and various other celebrities to endorse Obamacare for them. What they have gotten in publicity has been absolutely almost priceless in its value on the market, above and beyond the $5 billion that's built into the bill. That's built into the bill. It's programmed in. It's written in. It's built into the bill. They indeed had billions of dollars to use to advertise this thing. He absolutely had billions of dollars. And then he goes after the Koch brothers as this prime example of people who do have billions of dollars to go after things like Obamacare. And it seems that over the last, I want to say it was 12, maybe years or something like that, the Koch brothers collectively have given a total of under $70 million to, for all of their contributions over the course of a better part of a decade, if not longer than a decade, have equaled less than a 1/100th, about 1/100th of what Obama and the Democrats had access to money-wise for advertising for this bill. We have been lied to over and over and over and over again. In fact, I was so taken aback when I listened to the sound on tape of the press conference that he was holding, when I heard him say that indeed they didn't spend billions and didn't make the hard. I was so taken aback, I didn't know what to say. I didn't even know how to feel, because my president had lied to me again. Third president in a row. Clinton, we know what he lied about. Bush, well, I don't know that he lied, but he certainly left out some things. Obama, keep your plan if you like your plan. Keep your doctor like your doctor. Gonna save you money? No. All of it's crap. And now the Koch brothers are their target, so that they can get the onus off of them, or the heat off of their own shoulders, the Democrats' shoulders, and onto something else, so that people don't actually come back and call them on their lies about this whole thing. It is an absolute disgrace. Now you're probably saying to yourself, Mike, what are we going to do? What answer are we going to give? And what do we base our answer on? Well, I come up with answers based on what I know. What I know is the Judeo-Christian faith. I know good, the difference between right and wrong, good and bad. Don't kill, don't cheat, don't lie, don't hurt, don't steal, right? Real basic stuff, right? Based on that, here's what I'm going to recommend. Repeal Obamacare. Obviously, it doesn't work. It works, in fact, it works so poorly that the president himself has had to change his own law up to 40 times now. Up to 40 times almost, in order to make it even look like it's working. We've had exemptions for pretty much everybody on Capitol Hill. We've had exemptions for various companies and corporations. We've had stave-offs of parts of the bill being enacted in order to accommodate this, that, or the other person. Unions are being exempted in one way or the other. We've got the individual mandate, which is about to be pushed back past the election. It's just ridiculous. Obviously, the law is broken. If the law weren't broken, he wouldn't have changed it as many times as he has already. Step 1, get rid of it. Step 2, okay, tort reform. We have to make it worth a person's while to become a doctor and maintain a physician or whatever practice it is that they want to start. Okay, we don't make it worth their while if we as citizens don't protect their rights to earn a living as doctors and keep that living. All right, in the face of being sued by people who may or may not have a case. Okay, by enacting putting some kind of cap or some kind of limit or some kind of thing in place where doctors are liable for. If it's percentage based of income based upon the lifetime of the person or whatever the formula is, all right, we have to put a cap on what people can get out of these doctors. Doctors should not have to put the personal wealth that they've spent 20, 25, 30 years building for they and their families on the line because somebody doesn't like something they did. All right, and now in the cases where death has occurred, okay, yes, it's an extenuating of circumstances, but we still need to be aware of the fact that the reason these doctors jack up their costs to the insurance companies is because they have to pay those insurance companies to protect them in the courts of law. All right, to protect them against lawsuits and malpractice lawsuits like this. It's a huge, nasty, vicious circle. If we put caps on it, all right, and I've been injured by a doctor. I know. All right, I totally understand it. I've been injured by a doctor. Okay, so, but since I'm not dead, there's not a whole lot I can do. But you know what? I'm alive. I'm moving on with my life. If we put limits on what we can sue doctors for, as far as the financial compensation goes, all right, we can lessen their liability on the market, which means we can lessen their insurance costs for covering malpractice, which means they can drop costs, which means they don't have to charge insurance companies so much to execute their services, which means insurance companies don't have to charge us so much for their premiums because they're not paying our doctors all that much, because our doctors are paying their insurance so much. It's a chain reaction. This is common sense stuff. So, next on our list of solutions, pardon me, I'm reading from a list. Encourage saving plans as a financial tool. Okay, health savings plans. It doesn't need to be done federally, but people need to be encouraged to take responsibility for their health care costs themselves. Obviously, we've seen over the last how many years, 60 years almost, that the government cannot handle insurance programs. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all bankrupt to the tune of close to $100 trillion collectively. Oh, unfunded liabilities across the board. We are in the hole. And these three programs have never, ever, 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 ever had an inkling, even a twinkling of an inkling, that they're going to be dug out anytime soon. All right? People need to be made aware that they can and should take steps to save for healthcare costs in the future if they don't have them now. Okay? Allowing sale of insurance across state lines. The reason we don't have competition is because these insurance companies cannot sell across state lines. They have to meet various individual state standards, and because the state standards are not uniform, they can't cover the states with the same program, so they can't compete on the same level as other companies who are already operating in those states. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. You get rid of the state line, the state border boundaries, okay, or as far as getting this stuff into the stream of commerce across state lines. Okay, you solve a whole lot of this stuff. All right. It also encourages competition. All right. If you open the doors for other people to come in and offer a similar product or a better product at a better cost, or an inferior product at an inferior cost, those who offer inferior products at inferior costs are going to go away. Those who offer better products at a better cost are going to stick around. And those who are here already and okay with just bobbing along because that's where they can be because there's no competition coming in, they're all of a sudden motivated to start competing with the people who are competing with them, thereby dropping their costs and improving their costs and improving their quality of service. It just makes sense. It's common sense stuff. We have to stop settling for politicians that will lie to our faces. It is time for us to merely stand up and tell the truth. If we tell the truth, there's nothing that can stop us. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. Get another episode of That's It. I've had it. Stay tuned. We'll have some more for you as soon as I can. Enjoy your day, guys.